Well, hello there. This is our daily Astro Tarot. I did just want to mention before I jump into the cards today that I've had a few issues with some of the outlets that I upload my videos on. I do post them on Instagram, which will sometimes jump them over to Facebook, and I also post them on my YouTube channel. I've had a few people reach out over the last couple of days to tell me that my videos on Instagram are kind of being cut off at the end. And I think that's because they're changing whatever they're doing on Instagram. They're making all videos reels. But I do want to just mention that I have all of my videos up on YouTube, and they are actually able to be posted in a much quicker fashion for some reason than Instagram is. Some days recently, it's taken me like half the day just to get a video posted on Instagram. So if you are interested in seeing the readings in full in a more timely fashion, then I would invite you to jump over to my YouTube channel, Delaney's Well, where you can find all my videos there. I also do take down my videos sometimes from Instagram and Facebook so that they don't pepper up my wall too much with my art and other things that I share. Pardon me. So if you are ever wanting to see a past video, I have them all up on my YouTube channel as well. In addition to that, I also have other content that I'm thinking about putting on my YouTube channel that will have longer time frames, so they're not going to be able to be posted to Instagram, particularly in the realm of medicine making and botanical comparisons, which I've been inspired to make a short video on since this herbal confluence that I just went to. I will often bring up these ideas in some of my advanced medicine making classes, and I just got the impression and the feedback from people that it would be really helpful to have the ability to have more people access this information so that they have an understanding of what's in all those little bottles and how they are different despite them having similar or the same Latin botanical names. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, check out my YouTube channel, and of course subscribe if you want to know new things that I'm going to be posting. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's reading. We have an opening card of the moon. Challenge today is the 9 of Cups. The way we're going to get through the challenge is the Judgment card, and then we have the final outcome being the Page of Pentacles. So 2 major arcanas today, speaking to some planetary bodies, and then we have this opening card of the moon. So some of us are going through what people would call the dark night of the soul. And the dark night of soul is this position where we don't see the light yet, and yet it's important for us to consider that the light will always come, right? And the moon card is kind of interesting, particularly right now, because the moon is growing in light, right? It's waxing, much like a candle waxes and grows by girth of its body. So we're starting to see more of the sun's reflection on the moon's surface, which is giving more light to our dark environment, right? So while you may feel like you're in this place of unknowing, it's important to consider that your fears can sometimes be the greatest hurdle for us to surpass, and that more light is coming in. Whenever it is a full moon, it actually lights up those dark areas of our lives and brings awarenesses to things that we didn't see before. So we're likely in this time right now where we are gaining a lot of helpful insight, which will actually help us transverse, that fear-inducing precipice that we feel like we have to walk over. The challenge today is the 9 of Cups. So this is typically a card of someone who feels accomplished and satiated, and feels a sense of pride from what they've been able to materialize and make happen in their lives. But this is showing up as a challenge. So Perhaps we feel like we still have a lot more to do, or we haven't really reached our potential. And we're looking over our past, and maybe we're looking into those cups that cause us an energy or an angst that isn't so pleasant. And so I would encourage you to consider that there are 9 different cups on this table, which means that there are many different experiences that we can draw from in life. And if you're feeling defeated and you're feeling overwhelmed, it may be useful for you to look into a different cup, you know, or possibly visit with someone like we saw in yesterday's reading, who can give you some reflection and feedback by way of what they see. And of course, we want to do that with someone who actually is in resonance with who we are, right? We don't necessarily want to go and sit down with the most harsh critic for reflection, unless, you know, that would be useful for you. The way we're going to get through the challenge came in as the Judgment card. So maybe you have accomplished so many things, right? If you look back at your life, there's chapters, there's certain phases, there's certain time periods that you can look over and that you can reflect on. But what I want to just pose for you as something to consider is that there's still more to be done, right? It's not complete. There's still things that you have to move toward. And I say that because this Judgment card is much like being called from the depths of this dark space and into some kind of new experience, right? We have Pluto over in the sign of Capricorn, and it's been in the sign of Capricorn for a number of years, bringing up transformation, right? Because Pluto is a very big force of nature that is explosive in energy. When we discovered Pluto, we actually discovered it was the nuclear age. And as they discovered different planets, this was the development of our society as well. It's pretty interesting if you look back at these things and draw some reflections from them. But we're being called to task right now. It's quite likely we're going through some kind of realization that's asking us to move into a different territory of our lives, right? We see these 3 people are in what appears to be almost like coffins, little dark boxes with hard edges that are confining, but they're being called out of those spaces by this angel that is playing a trumpet. It's like the rays of the sun are actually landing on that card, which is kind of cool because there's rays in the card. But it's a powerful energy, and we're all being called to this shift of energy right now. So what needs to rise up out of the darkness that you've possibly been putting your perspective in and move toward that which you are feeling called to move toward? Now, our ultimate outcome that we have for today is the Page of Pentacles. So this again is speaking to the energy of Virgo, and by coincidence, of course, Mercury is over in Virgo right now. So we are having to be discerning with where we put our attention, be discerning in how we speak about things, right? So as an example, perhaps you have some great wish or dream that you've always wanted to actualize in your life. And if you observe yourself talking about it, it may sound kind of defeated, right? Like, when I do this, this always happens. Or I could never do this even though I feel called to because of X, Y, and Z. And if you reflect on just the story that I shared a couple days ago about me asking for help from the divine and that creating a huge shift in my life, there's this energy that I think we all need to be aware of. And I actually create my orbs to kind of capture this energy. But when we send our wishes into the world, it's important for us to send them out in a way of potential rather than from a place of restriction, right? So as something to reflect on, perhaps, you know, there's something that you feel called to do or to create or to manifest, and you don't know how you're going to be able to do it but you look forward to seeing how it happens. This is a different energy to thread into the way that we speak about things and the way that we look at things, because it allows for a possibility that we don't yet know about. And I just want to pose this as something to think about, because when we are certain, it's actually a limitation. So if we're certain that we are bound by finances, or we're certain that we're bound by our environment, or we're certain that we have this limitation, well, then the universe presents that as so. But if there is a potential for something different, which I would argue that there is, because if there wasn't, you wouldn't be called to this new thing. If we're certain that there's something greater than what we've already experienced, and that what we have experienced is just what we've seen so far, but there's so much more beyond that, and that we're looking forward to seeing how our wishes manifest, and we give it to the wind, well, possibility has a chance of planting that seed. And so I don't want you to ever discount your vision or what you feel called toward, because I think there is a good reason in your being that you're feeling called toward that. And really, it's just a matter of discipline and where you put your energy, and also believing in the possibility and threading that possibility with the words that you use to speak about it, and the ideas and ways that you think about it. So it's time to be practical with our efforts and really take in those things that we need to do to nourish our idea, and put some time toward that in a very disciplined and practical way. And it will be truly amazing to see what comes out of that. I would argue that much more can come out of that than the certainty that you're just going to look at a hurdle for the rest of your life. So there's always a way around or through, but if we just keep measuring the hurdle itself, well then, of course, it will never move. I hope you all are well today. I have a few readings coming up, but I will still be offering these readings in the mornings. I am also looking at, having longer readings that talk about the different astrology transits. So if you are interested in those things, let me know. And I hope you are well on this Lionsgate of 8/8/2022. And I send a good wish to you. Bye for now.